Um, I am Fendry's wife. I'm the best known as Fendry's wife and Michelle's mom. Okay, it's been 18 years with the Lord for me, and 18 wonderful years. I mean, I had a lot of troubles, but it's been so much easier with being in the Lord. My story is really long, actually. So I married to Fendry in 1999, but I and he's been trying to convince me about the Lord and way of the Lord for many years. But it was in 2005 I finally gave up and gave up to the Lord, basically not to him, but gave up to the Lord and prayed for Holy Ghost. The reason being is I grew up as a Christian. I was raised in a Seventh Adventist church, which is very, very strict since I was born, and I was believed that that was the way of life until I was 7, and that's when my uncle from my father's side, that's my mother's side of family, my uncle from my father's side became a Presbyterian church pastor. And being in Korea, I was born and raised in Korea. So being in Korea, we follow father's family more. So I started to go to church, and I always believed in the Lord. The first thing I would do when I have hardships, I would pray. So when Fender said, I don't have Holy Ghost, I couldn't believe it. I knew about Holy Ghost and I always believed I had it, right? So it's hard to, I think it's hard to convince the people who are already believing they are Christians that you are not true Christians than the people who do not know. Say, if I were a Buddhist, it might have been easier to convince me. But anyway, I was, I mean, Fendria has been very consistent talking to me, and then I was still going to Fresno Fellowship as like, as a family it would do. But then in 2005, I thought I had everything in my life, but I was so depressed. I was so sad and I couldn't believe it. Why? And then it made sense when I look at him and the people from church. I was thinking, how can they be always looking happy and content, right? So something might be wrong with my belief. And I started to pray for Holy Ghost. I prayed to Lord that, Lord, please show me if I really do not have Holy Ghost, give it to me so I can be a true believer. And then I prayed for like a month, and I'm very, say, persistent when it comes to what I want. So I wanted the proof, right? So our church, believe it with proof, right? So I prayed, and one night I was praying over myself in the middle of the night, and then this I started burst in songs, singing in this weird language, and I knew and I couldn't stop. That's the thing. At first when I burst into speaking in tongues, I couldn't stop. And I started crying and all the tears will come out on the left eye only. And the thing is, you see, I was sitting on the floor, like, like cross-legged. And then there was this like a sliding door with a whole window. I mean, the mirror in front. And I looked at myself and in the middle of praying, and I looked at myself and I was crying and only tear would come out on the left eye. I was like, Lord knew that I was a suspicious person because he didn't just give me, I mean, Holy Ghost and proved to me that I can speak in tongues, and that's the proof. But he also showed me this magical way of showing me how he can work my body, And so that was in 2005. And then in 2005, October 3rd, I got baptized in Fresno in full immersion. And that was the point of life, my life that it's just changed. I think I'm not still, I mean, nobody's perfect. I know that, but and then a year later, on October 4th, Michelle was born. At the time, I was married for 7 years. We never thought we would be able to have children because I wouldn't conceive. I mean, we didn't go to specialists or anything, but we just assumed that I cannot have baby. But she came along, and then everything seemed to make sense. Lord had to prepare me to be a good mother with hope by blessing me with the Holy Ghost, so I could truly be a good person to be I cannot believe anybody can raise a child without Lord. Really, I mean, with having her, I learned so much. Um, and I knew, I mean, because I'm a parent, I can kind of like relate to Lord more in a way, how he wants the best for us. And I've been suffering from this chronic pain for over 4 years now. But in the first year, it was really frustrating, and I was asking Lord, why, why? But that struggle lasted like about a year, and I see things even in the hardest times. I feel content. It sounds weird, but I can be like, and I see my family in the Lord, and there's nothing better than the whole family in the Lord. Uh, uh, my struggle, the longest struggle of getting to, I mean, the point where I received Holy Ghost was because it was part of me don't want to deny that all my family members who believe they're Christians cannot go to heaven because it feels like I'm betraying them. But I'm still continuously working on my family back home in Korea. And I'm glad to be with the saints here because whenever I come to any fellowship, I feel like I'm home. Thank you.